And the fun begins. Welcome to Ilasa's Ascension Gifts as we ascend and wake up. As we become fully aware of our creatorship, we become wise with our words and wise with what we're thinking. For we are creating all of this. We are making all of it up. So go ahead and begin my Patreon if you are new to Ascension, if you are new to activations. Welcome. You were drawn here through resonant match magnetism, through remembering who you really are. And I am a reflection of your consciousness from the one larger consciousness that we be. And so I had to start switching from Facebook to Patreon. So please feel free to share this and join in on the Patreon. With Patreon, there's 3 tiers. You can join at a basic level for $11.11 a month and receive these weekly activations like I'm going to do today. You can go up a level for $33 a month and receive additional star code content for stabilizing your gateways as you wake up to the full channel that you are. And lastly, you can join for $333 a month and go ahead and have additional live stream content on Source and Beyond stabilization and codes and delivery of what we are capable of, because we are capable of everything. So let me go ahead and just get into this weekly activation. And I'm going to be utilizing on these activations the Akashic Soul Pro app. And so that looks something like this. Okay, so if you are not familiar with the Akash means ether. It is all the information held in the grooves of space, in the grooves of our mind, and the grooves of dimensions. And so we have the opportunity at any time to hop dimensions, elevate ourselves through dimensions, stabilize ourselves in dimensions, clear ourselves from grooves in dimensions that are keeping us in loops and keeping us in patterns and lifestyle existence that we no longer are resonating with. So I highly recommend you download this app, the Akashic Soul Pro, and you can begin quite easily by beginning the session, and you can type in your intention. And today's intention will be for the Ascension Activation, highest and best for the group that gathers here. And I suggest that you become very clear with your intentions, because your intentions, your words, things you're writing, they all are creating. They are creating what you are saying, what you are thinking, what you are writing. And that's how we exist. We're writing ourselves into these plays, into these existence. So if you are one that does a lot of contemplating and doing a lot of either or, should I do this, should I do that, I suggest you stop doing that, because you are then creating all those things to actualize. And if you're heading for a goal and you begin to put either or into your goal, you're going to find that you will be doing all those possibilities till you finally get to that goal and you align up your own central channel. And as you wake up and align your central channel, stabilizing those gates, utilizing your ability to neutralize and become neutral-minded with no point of view, then you'll find that the goal was already there, was already completed, and you actually line up to that gateway to receive it, to receive whatever you have spoken into existence. So let's go ahead. You can do a self session with these and muscle test or intuit the information. But we're going to use the supercomputer that's been developed this past year with the group at Solterra and now Unity Marker. And we are going to push automatic reading. And this says God consciousness is this activation. So you remembering yourself as God, as connected to God. It could be connected. It's whatever you feel most resonant with. How you take the clarity that I'm giving you from my point of view or non-point of view, you then take that for yourself and receive it the way that feels best. So you may feel that you are a co-creator with God, or you literally are God. God is consciousness. And my invitation to you is to digest all aspects of self. Begin to realize all those different words that you gave yourself, the one being that you are, the one consciousness that you are. So in this God consciousness, who wants to be identified? Enemy consciousness. And I can definitely see that for the collective right now. There's, COVID, there's the virus, there's enemies, there's the government. When all these things actually are just reflections of our own consciousness, of that God consciousness that wants to be neutralized and digested. So that we no longer have that enemy, we then realize that the reflection is actually us. And what can we glean and learn and understand? And what can we find what's right about what's happening right now on the planet with the situations at hand? Does it make us get more in our creator's seat? Does it make us take responsibility for our health, our wealth, our well-being? Does it make you do that? Then you're stepping into that God consciousness. If you're finding that you're seeking to point blame and have an enemy out there, then you are subject to what's happening and you're not creator. You're not being that creator. So my invitation to you is to become the creator of your life. What the energy of what is disappointment, and that wants to expand. So it wants to shift from disappointment to yogi consciousness, to a kind of, again, that realization of master, that I am master of my health through my lifestyle choices, through how I'm thinking, being, believing or not believing. Where in the body that wants to be cleansed on this activation for today is reproductive system. So how are we creating, right? The reproductive system creates. So we want to cleanse that. When I get to the end here, we will cleanse and activate. What meridian wants to be worked with in this activation is your pericardium. And so a very simple exercise that you could trace. In Acu Yoga, we trace the meridians. You could trace the pericardium, the middle finger to the heart. And you could allow yourself to soften that protective, that there's an enemy, and soften the pericardium, soften the cover in the heart, so that you truly can become back into full channel, both at the reproductive system and again above the solar plexus, where that kind of power struggle goes on, into the heart, and allow the heart to soften and open and realize itself. Why is this record wanting to be activated and cleared? Is conditioning, it says. So where we've been conditioned to believe ourselves separate from God, separate from creator, that wants to be looked at today. The planet is the moon. The moon wants to be, not always when I do these activations, does it mean that you're going to utilize the way we've learned about astrology or learned about something. It's always going to be left to you what you want to do with that information. Do you want to disentangle from it so that you can have a better understanding of creator consciousness? Meaning, do you want to entangle deeper with the moon, or do you want to disentangle from it? And I'll give us that opportunity in the activation. And a lot of this is just super conscious ability that will just happen because you've shown up here. Whereas sometimes you feel like you literally are putting in the program and saying, I'd like to disentangle from the moon, whatever that was causing me to feel anxiety. Maybe it's a full moon and you bought into the conditioning that it could cause anxiety. Maybe you want to pull back from it. The essential oil it tells us that we could work with on this activation is patchouli, a very grounding oil. The DNA is DNA 6 that wants to be strengthened and activated. An animal is a mountain lion. So as I say these different lists, I'm going to go through the list and I'm going to tie it all together through the super channel that I be, and then we'll do the activation. But as I say these things, you may have had a dream about a mountain lion last night. You may have a spirit animal as a mountain lion. Whatever it means to you is most important. But for me, that mountain lion is a very, strong being, strong divine feminine being that can go up any dimension, any terrain of the mountain. The temple chart shows us portals. So I'm just looking at the charts. And portals is something that wants to be worked with. So we're working with releasing enemy consciousness. So we're stepping back into our full channel, which is a portal in itself. We're pulling back from portals that may be causing us to think that there's something separate or out there causing an enemy to exist. So we'll pull back from all portals where that enemy consciousness exists, in all time, all space, all dimension. The vehicle is your very own house, meaning sometimes on the chart you'll get that your car needs cleansing, or your van or your RV. Sometimes on here, you're going to see that the vehicle is your own human body. On this chart, it says your house is a vehicle to realize yourself as God consciousness, God, Goddess consciousness, creator consciousness, to realize that the house is almost like another subtle body around you that wants to work with you and drive you into this ascended plane of existence where you already know all of this, where you already know what you truly are, where you already know that the stories that are going on and the loops of the collective are just stories, but that you're beyond that. There's something much grander and greater of why you're here. And that's why you're here. That's why you gravitated to this page. The element is star. So something about the stars wants to be looked at. The superpower is dematerialization. So we've been working a lot with dematerialization at Unity Marker this past week, and the consciousness that's been coming through is it's time to dematerialize. It's time to find those places and spaces where you are so fixated on how something should be, that there's an enemy out there, that the things in the world are collapsing and it's going to leave you for a loss. There's something about your physical body or about your being here that is so fixated that in form that it's always going to be this way. Well, what if you dematerialize your full light? It looks like I'm solid, but I am moving light. I am waves. Everything out here is waves of light, of consciousness projecting from my very own pineal gland or beyond. So if I can allow things to be more loose and not so solid in form, and allow things to dematerialize just by saying dematerialize anything that's causing enemy consciousness. Anywhere I believe there to be an enemy, may I dematerialize that belief, that energy in the ether, in the Akash. May I dematerialize anything within me that's keeping me locked into enemy consciousness or locked out of my realization that I am God. Okay? So that will be added into our activation for sure. The event is a full moon. So we had the planet is a moon, as well as the full moon is highlighted here. So just, pay attention when you use this app, pay attention when things double up, because that's really pointing to you something to pay attention to, okay? The geometry is an angle. And when I think of an angle, I think of triangulation. I think of angling. I think of, kind of getting people to work against each other, that there's an enemy, that there's something that can harm you. When you are eternal being of light, you are forever, forever consciousness, okay? So as you really let that sink in, you can, let go easier, because if you've been riding this train and it's taking you to a dead end that really isn't where you want to be, then dematerialize that track and allow a new track to rise, okay? The crystals is bloodstone that you could work with, also a very grounding stone. Cleansing the gallbladder, I will call that out on our activation. Nature is a rainbow, so you might have some rainbows popping up within your own central channel, as well as out reflecting in front of you in the sky. The star is El Nath. And since we got element star, I'm going to look up that just to see what constellation it is in. Okay, and so that's something you can do when you get a star on the stars chart. It can give you just an extra point of view or non-point of view to help you understand what this record is wanting to get to you. It's the second brightest star in Taurus. So again, we've got a lot of grounding elements here. And let me just check on when the full moon is. We are beyond time. As you wake up to the ascended state that you exist in, we're more into dimensional speech, but since it brought up moon twice, I'm just going to add in the full moon is on August 3rd, okay? It's a sturgeon moon. August 3rd is coming up. So I think we're really close to August 3rd. So next week, something to pay attention to before we do our next activation. We will have this full moon, and it will be an opportunity for you to get even another layer, deeper understanding of why this record came came into full fruition. Okay, the solutions is always going to give you a solution at the very bottom as well. This is herbs. So, if you have an herb that calls to you to help you come into the realization of what you really be, and God consciousness helps you come to the realization of releasing enemy consciousness, then that might be something you work with today. So let me just tune in and see if there's anything else that needs to be brought forward. So they're talking about, as I tune into source consciousness and beyond, they're talking about understanding that the enemy consciousness comes from our own mind. Okay, so it's really a new opportunity as we wake up to what we really are and how we really create to get more into the heart, to allow ourselves to really begin to stabilize into the heart center, to move from the heart center and not from the two minds of the brain and the gut, to really allow this new sense of feeling to come over us and move us forward so that we really are moving into an open heart bliss state to bring forward that which we want to create, okay, as creatorship comes in. When you find yourself too heady, you're trying to think your way through it, just drop into the feeling. And that's, the best place to create from is from that feeling place. So generating an elevated emotion, stabilizing your 1, 2, 3 chakras, asking for strong stability at the root, strong foundation, strong emotional stability at the sacral, and strong power, willpower at your solar plexus as you anchor and elevate into higher states of existence at that heart space. So let's use that as a starting point for this activation. So go ahead and put your hand to your heart. And we'll have our free hand, just be willing to receive. So I'm just putting an Om Mudra, thumb and index finger touching. Take a nice deep breath. And we're going to go ahead and bring liquid golden light down the central channel and have that liquid golden light bathe your central channel, the tube that goes around the spine. And as it bathes the central channel with liquid golden light, allow that light to become very etherical and begin to overflow into your subtle bodies, into the space around you. And we're going to go ahead and ask for your soul star above your head to activate so that it's easier for you to understand and overstand all that's being brought to you from other projectors of reality, other beings, and understand truly what is yours. And so we're just going to send a wave of forgiveness to all other beings, a wave of I love you through the golden light, a wave of please forgive me for misunderstanding what this really is, this whole experience. And a thank you to all other beings for assisting, and however they assist in this now moment, they're just really being highlighted, other beings. And as you put your hand to your heart and take another deep breath, allow your awareness to come back to your heart center. Good. And allow an opening of light, a cosmic flower to open at your heart center. There it is. And as the cosmic heart flower opens, I'd like you now just to invite any etherical threads of light to show themselves from the center of your chest to the entire plane of existence. Any threads of light where you've entangled with enemy, something outside of you that you thought was an enemy. And you might not even see what it's connecting to, but it just might feel like a lot of threads of light are going out. We're just highlighting them because we're going to pull them back. These could be situations and events throughout all timelines, all existence. From beyond your heart out any other chakra, we're also going to highlight all other chakra centers, anywhere on your physical form, subtle forms, any enemy consciousness generated from your mind out. And then now we're going to highlight also any etherical threads of light that are coming from others thinking that you're the enemy. Good. And with your own breath, we're going to go ahead and invite dematerialization. So the superpower of dematerialization, just with your breath, each time you breathe, just dematerialize on the exhale. Allow those threads of light to dematerialize. Some of them might recoil back to you. Some of them might go back to the other. But ultimately, we're using dematerialization just to dematerialize any configurations of energy that would be causing enemy consciousness to exist. And allow the sparkles of golden light out the exhale breath to dematerialize, so that it's easier to move forward as we come into time space that we would call a full moon. Good. And anywhere that moon consciousness wants to be deeply engaged with, to receive any insight, allow that to happen or not happen. You have choice. And if it's to not happen, pull back from the moon. Anywhere that you need to pull back from moon consciousness. Yeah, there it is. And as this is happening, we're going to ask for a deep cleansing as that release of the moon or deeper understanding of the moon happens. Ask for a cleansing to come forward, cleansing your pericardium, your solar plexus, and then let it cascade down to the reproductive system. Anything connected to reproductive system is being cleansed with golden light, cleared, and activated to an upgraded way of operating and an upgraded way of understanding how to utilize the solar plexus, the pericardium, and the reproductive system to be in creator's seat again. Good. We're now going to ask for the star that has been highlighted, El Nath, to give us any additional assistance, just as we did with the moon. Anywhere it's assisting you, receive an insight. Anywhere it's not assisting you, disentangle. Good. And as the earth beneath us, we're going to ask for bloodstone frequency to support us in any way. Patchouli to support as well in any way, any of the codes of light, star code crystals that come from the DNA 6 and patchouli. Good. We're now going to ask that anywhere and everywhere you have open portals in your house that need to be shut or closed, to do so now. Any of the portals in your house that need to be activated and strengthened so that you may have a new understanding of creator consciousness. Good. And anywhere the central channel of your own being needs to be worked with for additional creatorship consciousness as well. And as the golden light strengthens the central channel of your form, we'll go ahead and bring the rainbow in. Violet, indigo, blue, turquoise, green, rose, golden sun, orange, red, magenta. Good. And go ahead and allow yourself to just feel the stabilization within the channel of all the chakra gateways. And to complete this activation, go ahead and bring your heart hand down on your lap and place them in front of each other, on top of each other with thumbs touching. Palms are open. And I'd like you to receive something from your ascended state of existence. So your very own being, a very big being of self. It could be in form or not, but allow this bigger being that you are to place something in your hands. And receive that into your heart. Allow a gift from your bigger being to go to all those that you've just freed from enemy consciousness. There's no more enemy anymore, for you truly can understand that they were just reflecting something to you that needed to be digested and merged, that the mind had created. So allow this gift in your hand to be gifted to others, and send that to others. And the last gift we're going to ask from our greater being is a gift for the collective, so that we may stabilize this source code of creatorship and elevated understanding of what the me was inside me, inside my mind. And receive that gift. And then send that to the collective as well. Good. Bring your hands back to a stable position, palms touching each other. Allow your hands to open into a diamond heart. Allow your hands to come back to the palms together. Touch your forehead. Give yourself highest thanks for being willing to receive this activation, for upgrading yourself and the collective and all other beings that you are coming in contact with. Until next week, until this next live stream, we look forward to seeing you. Welcome to my new Patreon channel and YouTube of The Ascension Is Now, and on Patreon, Elasa's Ascension Gifts. Have a great day.